You're listening to the Kuya Paul Can't Stop Talking podcast. If you'd like to support me in all of my creative endeavors, you can visit flow.page slash Kuya Paul underscore official. Thanks for listening. Be blessed. Stay dope. Hey, what's up, y'all? This is KP, and you are watching a brand new podcast that I'm doing called Kuya Paul Can't Stop Talking. And already the chat is going off. I'm actually doing this live on twitch.tv forward slash Kuya Paul underscore official. So streaming it live, and 1111 Clutch says, "What am I snacking on?" I'm actually snacking on soup. It's technically a dinner, I guess. Didn't really eat dinner. Just came from my family house in San Gabriel Valley area. Um, it was great. We had some country fried pork chops for lunch, and then I had a little bit for dinner. There was also my mom made curry chicken. That was pretty dope. And then I'm eating this tonkotsu because I I just had shrimp wonton soup from 1111 Clutch. Oh man, that sounds so good. Shrimp wonton, let's go. I had wonton soup this week, man. It was dope. I had it right before an open mic that I went to, which apparently also had food when I got there. So I felt like I wasted money, but I also really wanted soup that day. So I'm gonna eat my soup. Hmm. Yes, all that part of the podcast. But this is the type of podcast that I'm doing right now. It's a brand new thing that I want to do on a weekly basis. Kuya Paul Can't Stop Talking. A weekly podcast about my rants and raves on my past week. And then maybe weeks behind. I actually tried to start this podcast offline. I actually have an entire 1 hour recording of me talking about what my week was 2 weeks ago, but I never posted it. I figured this would just be a better way of doing it. And also can interact with the community in the chat as I do my podcast. So it really is just me just talking, which is why it's called Creep Can't Stop Talking, because I literally can't stop talking sometimes. And I've been told that. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to name the podcast that. Um, is because there have been moments in my life when I just could not stop talking. For hours and hours on end, I'd be talking to my friends, and so heaven bless them for listening to me to all my rants and raves. But it's one of the things I love about my friends is they have a really good listening ear for me. Oh, yeah, that's pretty much it. Um, so starting the podcast just to get the ball rolling. Um, last weekend was dope. It's Monday, and oh man, Clutch, I got some stuff to show you actually. Since Clutch is here, shout outs to 1111 Clutch, friend of the stream, friend of the show. I want to show you. Let's see if I can do it on this page first. Photos. Photos Google. There we go. Um, man, I got some photos to show you. This this particular this particular week. Oh, it didn't. Did it not? Oh man, it didn't update yet. Dang it. Ooh, it has some really good pictures in here though. Um, but I have some pictures from this last weekend. Saturday night I was invited by my mentor to attend a screening of her family's movie called The Fabulous Filipino Brothers. And it was created by the Bosco family. If you guys aren't familiar who the Boscos are, they're a famous Filipino family within the Southern California area. They're all within the industry. Some of the notable names would be Dante Bosco. You may know his work from Hook back in the 90s with Robin Williams, Dustin Hoffman. He was the famous and somewhat infamous Rufio, one of the Lost Boys. You might also know him as the voice of Prince Zuko from Avatar: The Last Airbender, the Nickelodeon show, and several other roles. I think he was in Take the Lead. He was he was one of the stars in Take the Lead with the film by Antonio Banderas. Another notable one is Dion. Dion is I actually met him years ago, and he was in a sitcom called, I think, California Dreamin'. It's kind of like a teenage young adult sitcom of a band in California, and I think he played like a Hispanic guy, but he's Filipino, and I think my sister had a crush on him. That's why I mentioned him. But he's done some notable commercial work lately. Um, I think with I forgot if it was like Chrysler or like another company, and also Budweiser as well too. But yeah. So all the four boys within their family are in the industry, as well as their families. I think Derek Bosco, his daughter is Ella J Bosco, who you may know as Cassandra Kane from the Harley Quinn movie that came out a couple of years ago. So you might know her from that. And there's my mentor, Ariana Bosco, who's the one that invited me. She's very notable as a poet, spoken word artist within the Southern California and actually worldwide community of poets and performers. She's my mentor in terms of like stage presence and performance, and also poetry. Got this movie. Got to go to the premiere. It was in LA's Little Tokyo at this place called Artani Theater. Really great venue. Not my first time being there. Clutch, you might like this, but I got a I have to show it on my phone. I got to see some notable Filipino stars as well too. Not super one of them in particular you might know. This guy. Where's the camera? Right here. Here. If you can see it. That's AJ. Shout outs to AJ Stream, AJ Raphael on twitch.tv. I get to talk to him. It was fun too because it's like I was just like, dude, is this AJ? I was like, I haven't seen him in person for so long, but I've been trolling his stream a lot. So I don't remember. I don't know if he remembered me because I my pen name has always been Kuya Paul, and I'd go to like some events and stuff like, and then I'd be known as Kuya Paul the poet. So I'm with a friend of mine, Arthur. Um, we just arrived on in the area, and I see AJ talking to a friend of his. I was like, okay, so I don't want to bother, but I do want to say it's like, hey, just love your work, whatever. I don't know if he remembers me on stream or if he like even coincides me with Kuya Paul on stream. But right when I'm about to like say hi to him or just like, hey, we love your work and stuff, like he goes, hey, what's up, Kuya Paul? I'm like, oh shoot, he knows me. Freaking AJ Raphael. I was like, what the freak? Dude, he even asked, I was like, dude, what's your stream schedule? Like we got to talking and I was like, oh dude, I'm so sorry. Like I want to have a stream schedule, but I've been so busy with so many other projects. I'm trying, but it's hard because I'm trying to build all this other stuff. And then he even encouraged me. He's just like, hey, if you can't keep a schedule right now, it's not a problem. Don't try to force it. I was like, cool. Thanks so much, man. But I told like I got to talking to him during the after party. It was really just like kind of a surreal moment. I was like, am I talking again? Because I had a talk with him years ago. It was so surreal. I was like, am I talking to AJ Raphael right now? And he was talking about streaming on Facebook. And then now I'm talking to him just like freaking I was telling him everything that I just felt about the stream. I was like, I think your stream is dope. I think his stream was just like it's on the oh by the way, if you hear rumbling, it's we're actually having a very one of those very rare but not so rare California thunderstorms right now. Because we're in a ooh, that was a big one. Because we're in a desert biome. Um the hot and cold, especially like during the fall, but we're still in desert. The hot and cold tend to intermix and then we'll get these thunder. It's not raining, but there's just like group load of thunderstorms right now. If you were watching football today, which I mean, like when I actually published it'll be a couple of days, but I think it was like the Raiders versus the Chargers. I want to say Chargers. At SoFi Stadium, and they actually had to postpone the postpone kickoff because they were afraid of the thunderstorm, which we all thought it was funny. Like I was watching with my family, we all thought it was funny because it's like it's an indoor stadium. Why are they worried about the thunder? But anyway, Mm-hmm. So that's part of my weekend. Got to watch this film, Fabulous Filipino Brothers. Um, I guess since this is a podcast, I can review it. So I guess a part of it. Oh, let's review it. So great movie. Definitely had a lot of like Filipino corniness, but at the same time was also really well done, well shot. I was entertained pretty much the entire time of the movie, and a lot of stuff. It was very just like based on true stories from like their family. That's what they said. But like with that, like I love the stories that they told. They kind of had like short story, like not to put too much out of the film, but it's like it wasn't one big long narrative, but it was a long narrative full of short stories of each brother. So it was very interesting to do the film like that, but it also gave it it gave the film a lot of dimension. So it was definitely a roller coaster ride of emotions. And I love that. I really like that about the movie, and I enjoyed every bit of it. Everyone in the theater around me hated me because I emote badly at movies. Like I will audibly tell you how I'm feeling. Like there were times where I was like, "Oh, what? Oh, I was about to what?" And people were just like, "Shut up!" I'm like, "I'm sorry. I just like the movie." But you can tell I like a movie when I'm like emoting like that. So I got to watch the movie. We went to a cafe after, not a cafe. We went to a bar after for the after party called 82. It was a barcade. It was pretty dope. I wasn't feeling well though because I was like up for a long time. Um, and I didn't even realize until I was at the after party. I was like, why I feel so tired. I'm kind of start feeling sick, and then I just realized I was like, oh, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I've been up since 6. I actually like was doing the computation in my head, and I was like, by the time I left, by the time I left the after party at like around 2 o'clock and drove started driving home, I was like, I am 4 hours away to have to being up for 24 hours. So like it's like basically I did a 24-hour stream. And I was like, that's why I feel so sick and tired like right now. Like it's like my body was not feeling it. I had no energy. Like I was getting headaches, and I was like, why am I feeling this way? I was like, oh, it's because I've been up for 20 hours. um so yeah, that was my Saturday. What else has been going on? There's just a bunch of stuff going on. Like I said, I can't stop talking. I could be talking for days. Um the outfit, shout outs to everyone who's been complimenting me on my outfits lately. So my IG game has just been I've just been trying to grab some self esteem. That I think that's how I told a friend for DG. Shout outs to DG Online, Twitch.tv / DG Online. Him and several others have been just like, hey, you looking good. I was like, well, thank you. And I'm trying to look good nowadays to try to get a little bit back of my own self esteem because as some of you, not all of you, but some of you may know, I used to be a big guy, like big, fat, like really big, over 300 some odd pounds. Um, and I've lost a lot of weight since then. So I've been looking better. I've been actually looking younger than I've ever been looking in my life. I clean up pretty well nowadays. And I've gotten a lot better personal fashion sense. I personally feel like I've always had a fashion sense, but I've never given permission for myself to use it just because I always felt like I didn't like I call it like I call my body the canvas. I didn't like the canvas I was using. Now I kind of like it. So yeah, I've been doing just dripping. And it's been happening for a while, but I think a lot of people are starting to notice. I was like, hey, you're looking pretty good. I was like, I'm trying, man, I'm trying. But yeah, just like my style of clothing. I think it happened maybe several years ago when I was going to you know what it was? I think it really started when I was going on my trip to Tokyo, specifically Japan, I should say. It's not just Tokyo. I went to Kyoto, I went to Osaka. But like I think during that trip, I was just like, let me just dress nice. I actually went shopping at the Westfield Culver City, which is a really fancy mall here, like right beside Beverly Hills. You have nice shops. It's not unaffordable, but a lot of the stores that they have over there do have like, their high brands. Um, I had heard from a friend several months ago that she got like a bag from Superdry, and I was just like, it's a decent brand, but I was just like, what's their gimmick? Is it like actually super dry? It's like, oh, it's just the name. I thought it was just some kind of just like brand where just like their clothes remain dry. That's not the case. But like, it's so dumb. It's such a like dumb like showing my age kind of thing to say. But basically, okay, so I went to Superdry at Culver City Westfield, and it was like cool. Like some of this clothing looks pretty good, and like some of it was on discount, so I was like, okay, I can afford some of this stuff. So I got like shorts, I got a couple shirts and tank tops, and I was like, okay, cool. And I think that was the start. I was like, I'm buying a brand name, and even though it's on discount, I'm still buying it. I also bought joggers. They had worn out since then, but like it was the first time I actually bought joggers. And I was like, okay, let me try them. And I was like, I put them on and I was like, huh, this actually kind of works for my body type. So kept wearing it, kept losing weight. That was back in 2018. And now it's just like, yeah, like I kind of have a look. It's kind of like um like 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 shabby hype beast. All I got are joggers. I know what it is about joggers from 1111 Clutch, by the way. I don't know what it is about joggers, but it's just like it kind of works. Whether they're just like kind of they like the sweat type joggers. Even my jeans are joggers. Yeah, there we go. I've been wanting to convert because I do have jeans. There is something about I still wear some jeans. I still have two pairs of Levi's jeans, and I'll still keep those. But I would like to get some joggers. Like I need to get a pair of black joggers. I have this random pair of white joggers that I bought at a Champions um sports clothing store. And I make it work, but like it freaks me out sometimes wearing them because they're like really white. So it's like, man, one thing gets on these things. I actually like thought about like what if I tie dye it or like just like a part of it? Jogger jeans equal Lola pants. Nice. I wouldn't mind. Like I would want to try some like yeah, I really do want to get some joggers, more just like kind of the khaki jogger, you know what I'm talking about? I got these brown ones that like you can see on my feed. Like those are one of my favorite pants. They fit pretty good. And I got them when they were like hella tight, but I still wore them and now they're kind of loose. So I was like, yeah, I'm still losing weight. Cool. Either that or they stretched out a lot. And that's one thing I like about joggers too. It's like you can make them look good, so they're good for casual wear, but if you do it right, sometimes they can look kind of a like casual formal. That's what I did at the premiere actually. Like, oh, excuse me. I did like my white joggers. I had a nice graphic tee, but then I also wore my tuxedo coat over it, and it plays. It was iffy, but it played, and I was like, you know what? I'll try that. I got a couple more outfits I actually want to try with that. And I got that tux for I want to wear that freaking tux out, man. I bought this tux for a couple weeks ago. I was at a wedding. I should just talk about that as well too because I'm never gonna release that other pod like on offline podcast. So a couple weeks ago I had a really great weekend. I got to spend time like reminiscing with old friends, making new friends. It more or less started with the wedding. Had a friend of mine about 6 months ago basically say, hey, I want to invite you to our wedding. She was like, you're such an old friend of mine. So you helped me when I first moved over here to the States. Long story short, but like the relationship we had is I was her youth pastor, and there was a time in her life where she had just moved. She's in like mid to late teenagers, 16, 17, 18 years old, and but she never learned how to drive. So she's learning here, and no one wanted to teach her, no one in her family, because the times that they tried, like it was just very nerve-wracking and like almost crashed. So I took it upon myself, just like, look, yeah, like I want to be a good example to her, kind of witness like the love of God to her. So I was just like, look, I'll teach her how to drive. And then I found out why no one wanted to teach her how to drive, because like she almost crashed my car like 5 times. She never ever did, but she almost did. A lot of times she almost did. I was like, you know what? I get it, but I took the time, and like I showed her like how much like I cared, showed her my love, and she appreciated that. And like we've been good friends ever since. I hadn't talked to her in years though. And then she calls me up and is like, "Hey, I want you at my wedding." So close to like the family. I'm so close to like her big sister, and the rest of her family still kind of regard me as like, like big brother Kuya Paul. So they're like, "Yeah, we want you there." So that people haven't seen me in months, right? So I make it a point, because not a lot of people have seen me lose this much weight. The last time she saw me was years ago, and I was over 300 pounds the last time she saw me. So I was like, no one's seen me lose this much weight. No one's seen me where I am right now, the way I look right now. So I was like, I'm gonna surprise them. I'm gonna just dress. I'm gonna drip. I'm gonna drip nasty that day. I'm just gonna like, let's show off, because if I'm gonna surprise them, let's surprise them with the best that I can surprise them. But it also is a little bit on me. I was just like, you know what? This is a really good opportunity for me, because it's like I've lost so much weight, and I changed my wardrobe, I changed my personality. Inside of who I am hasn't really changed, but it has definitely evolved into something even more, like even more me. So it's just like, let's show them the best of me. So I took months just organizing everything I wanted, this like from everything from the socks that I wore to my haircut to my beard. I even bought a watch. Everyone pull their glasses down. I mean, no, that's what I wanted. 1111 Clutch says just pull up, and everyone pull their glasses down. This is by like a. It's like that old 80s, like, ooh yeah. I wanted that, man. I freaking wanted it. I even cleaned my car, got it detailed, like straight up. I even used valet just so I could pull up and just be like, hey, take my car, take all this stuff, let's go. Yeah. Man, I wanted to drip. I wanted to just like not just drip. I wanted to freaking pour. So assembling all this stuff, I bought a suit. I bought it online, so I was a little iffy, but got it tailored. It was looking cool. It's a two-tone suit, so it's a black. It's a blue suit, dark navy blue, with a black lapel, and it's a tuxedo, and it just like kind of barely fits, so it's kind of a skinny look. So I was kind of going for that. Got the pants on. Got these nice, hey, clutch. I got these nice little like black and pink like leather, like kind of a leather canvas type um low top Adidas actually. They're freaking dope, man. And it just went with the suit, went with my watch. Nice lit freaking tie. Got a Macy's. I was just like, look, I'm gonna just drip. I'm gonna even show you. Let me show you. Let me show you. Let me show you. I'm gonna use photos actually to show you, because I'm gonna show you photos that I never even showed everyone else. Here we go. 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 Let's start here. We'll go right here. Let's go. There's that drip right there. Look at that. Look at that handsome fella. I didn't like how it was like how the camera was like kind of bunching at the end, so like I kind of cut myself off a little bit, but you see the drip coming up. You see that drip. You see that drip. I know you see that drip. But that was what I was going for. I think I had a better shot. I think this is the shot that I ended up going for. And then for Instagram I kind of cut it off a bit, so it kind of came out like that. That's the Instagram shot. Then I had another shot that I used for Instagram somewhere around here. I like some of these looks actually. Some of these looks came out pretty dope, but I had to roll up my sock. I was like, I don't want to show my skin or nothing, but look at that. Look at that drip. Look at that drip, man. Freaking. And then there's a couple of these I actually will probably use later. Like this one. I want to use this one. Um like this one. I want to use this later for something. I feel like look at these. Look at these. Look at these. Three stripes, baby. Them's the three stripes right there. Them's the three stripes. I'm telling you. Um couple of my friends are at the party. Alyssa, old time friend. I hadn't seen her in years. I haven't seen her since 2 kids ago. She has like 2 kids now. And then this hottie mid hot stuff is freaking like Old friend of mine named Rachel. Straight up, she was man. I could not stop staring. I mean, she's a friend, but mother, I could not stop staring. She had such a cool look that day. Like I thought I had a decent look. Then this fool comes in, freaking 1950s Susie Homemaker type, Mad Men type with the hair too. Mother, dude, she looked hottie mid hots, dude. Straight up. Um, these are my friends actually. All these three are sisters. This is one of my besties right here in the middle. That's Glinda. But they're all very beautiful. And then the person that I got married right here. On the left, her name's Danielle. That's the one that I taught how to drive. Just a great couple. But yeah, dude. But man, styling up. Hey, thank you so much, Clutch. Man, I've been trying. I'm trying, dude. I'm trying. Man, I was trying it. I was really trying. But like, yeah, they hadn't seen me, right? So yeah, I get those head turns and stuff all night basically with them because they hadn't seen me. They saw me like compare. I'm gonna even show you a comparison. Hold on. Let's see if I can find like an old, like straight up old. Now that Instagram's working again, let's see if I can find like just a straight up old picture of me. I know I have a few here. Hold on. If I just go down. I have a comparison pic actually somewhere here. It's here somewhere. Come on. I was still kind of big here actually. It's still big. This is a really interesting comparison pic. See, that's how big I was, right? So let's do this. That's how big I was. And here I am now. That's how big I was right here. And then oh man, for those and then here I am now. Still got a tummy, but you see the difference? See that diff? You see that diff? You see that diff? Be styling. And I guess this all goes back into like, yeah, how like I'm changing my Instagram up a lot. Um, but compare, dude, this guy, 330 pounds, man, right there, to like now. So many changes, man. So many changes. Look at that freaking beard. I gotta clean up my beard. I need to look like this. But man, I was just going for it, man. And then I think that's part of it too. I'm trying to get some of my self-esteem back. Like, um, I've been trying for years, ever since I've been losing the weight, but like now more than ever, especially trying to get back into the dating scene. Actually, not even trying to get back, man. I don't know if I've ever been in the dating scene for real, but just kind of like knowing my own worth, it's helping. So like I don't want to be the total douchey guy that just like, oh, it's just pictures of me all the time. I'm like, I think I overheard some friends of mine talking about it. It's like, oh, I don't want some guy who's just like all their pictures are just them. I was like, well, all my pictures are just me, but it's like I feel like I have like just a different tone about it. Like I'm not trying to be like, oh, look, I'm so like styling, like whatever. I mean, I try to be very like artsy with like my headings. So like Palisade, whatever. But I try to make mine look at least semi-friendly. Yeah, that one. Like approachable, Like not like super douchey, but just like an approachable guy. I try. See, that guy's smiling. That guy's smiling. Actually, like my friends actually started telling me, I was just like, you're frowning in a lot of these like pictures. You should smile more. And so I started. So like this one's like frowny. That's not really frowny, but not smiling. That one's kind of I have the smirk. I like the smirk. That's my family look. Quickly. Beautiful family. These two kids have grown up a lot too, man. They're walking around, they're running around. I was just playing with them today. Dude, I was playing with my nephews today and they're just like, man, they're rockets right now, dude. They just like run around everywhere right now. And I love it. I love how my nephews are just like my I think it's my mom bought them a little like like a little like play school um slide, and I am just like I'm losing my mind because like every time they climb on the slide they're just strong enough to be able to like bring themselves like up, and it's just tall enough so that if they fall, it would make a sound if they like fell on their head or something. So it's just like, oh my gosh, just basically they never did. Um, I think the youngest of my nephews, Jedediah, like he almost fell. Basically, he slid down the slide, but he had his leg tucked under him. So when he slid down, like his forward leg caught, and then he just like kind of tipped over. So he ended up just like landing on his like when he got to the bottom of the slide, he like tipped over, and then he landed on his head in a bunch of like pillows and blankets or kumots, I call them, like Tagalog kumot. But but yeah, like when he did that, my instinct is to cheer because I was taught that when you're playing with kids, cheer. So what happened to them, they don't think it's a bad thing. So it's like he flipped over, he fell down, he fell on his head. It didn't make a bump, but like you could tell is like he might have felt like, oh, it might have hurt a little bit. So I just started, hey, that's great, it's a good job. And then he looked at me and he just like, what are you talking about? And he started raising his hands like he was like, yay. Like he was like confused. He's like, was that a good job? And then he started clapping at himself. He was like, yes, that was a good job. I'm like, there you go. Anything to like not make him cry. Man, so yeah, my nephews are growing up like super fast. My oldest nephew, Bryce, just turned 2 years old. The guy is talking already, but just not in cohesive words that you can understand. But he talks emotively, so you can understand what he's trying to say, but he's just not saying the words. And then sometimes he'll get the words somewhat right, like like please will come out peace, like peace, and tanku, thank you would be tanku or stuff like that. Or I mean, the simple ones like bye, he can get bye. Um, amen when they're praying for food. It comes out amen, amen, or amens, stuff like that. But you can tell what he's trying to say. Even when he's trying to speak in full sentences. Guys trying to like write an essay in front of you and it's just like I have no idea what you're trying to say, but I kind of feel what you're trying to say. Yeah. Like I think he came up to me and he just kept going like it's like he says it sounded like ora so like not ora not like not like JoJo's, but ora I was like that. And I was like, it's kind of sounds like Lola or Mama. So I knew what he was asking was like, where's Lola? Where's Big Mama? Like my mom, because he wanted to play with her. But it was already past 5 o'clock, and like she went back to her room to rest. So he was just going, oh, wow. I was like, okay, I know what you're asking. You want to be with Lola? It's like, hey, she's done. She got to rest for a little bit. Not gonna see her for a while. Like she'll come out later. And then he kind of understood. He was like, okay, yeah, it's dope. Yeah, they're doing really well. Um, and yeah, that was part of my weekend as well too. Just kind of hanging out with him. What else happened this weekend? I did a lot of work. Went to church. So I've been going to this church in Los Alamitos called Gather. And long story short about that, Gather was another thing that happened those 2 weeks ago. I was asked by a friend of mine, long time ago friend, another just like kind of connection out of nowhere, years and years of just not talking to her. And she had put on IG stories, in one of her stories is like, hey, looking for musicians. Like for me, I'm in this whole thing right now where just like all gig economy, I'm just getting from one gig to another, and that's how I make my income right now. No more full time, no more 9 to 5 job. So I see just another gig, and I was like, yeah, I totally know how to play drums or guitar. I could also sing. And then she's like, oh, this is actually for church. And a part of me was just like, dang, it's not a gig. But then there was also like, you know what? I ain't been in church like to serve in a while. Like I used to serve a lot in like worship team as a youth minister, and it's just like it's been like 2 years, and I haven't really like directly served for a long time. So I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'll help. This is back in like early August. We start doing like these practices, but I'm driving all the way to Orange County from like the valley. If you guys don't know the distance, that's about an hour away. The last practice we had before I went to the church on that Sunday, which was like the Sunday right after the wedding too. So it was a super busy weekend. But the Sunday after, I mean, well, the practice right before that Sunday. By the way, this is for their grand reopening of their church because they had to close down for COVID. And they barely even started the church even before COVID started, so they weren't able to even meet in person until recently. But the grand reopening, I'm playing drums for them, and the last practice we have on a Friday, it took me 2 hours to get to practice, and I was already an hour late. It was bonkers, and I was just like, okay. Personally for me too, I was actually looking for a church, and I was like, where can I get involved? And all these other churches I've been going for months, ever since like you can go to like in person church. I've been going to church after church. It's like, oh man, I really do want to find like kind of a new home. And I still have a part of my heart is still in like my other churches. Shout outs to LCF. Shout outs partially to Mosaic, even though I never officially made them my home church. I kind of tried to. But by the time I was ready to, the pandemic hit. But shout outs to them because they kind of kept me they kept me in the loop, especially during the pandemic. But going out trying to find, it's like, hey, I'm just looking for a new home where I can serve, where I can get the word and stuff like that. It's like, and work I can find community. That was a big thing for me. So just looking around, and was not expecting that like this church all the way in Los Alamitos, basically Orange County, would be like a church that I'd kind of vibe with. But went over there, I served. I was like, okay, this is kind of dope. It has kind of a family aspect and value system, but at the same time, they're kind of young, and I like that. I didn't want to go to some like old, like like old Filipino church or whatever like that, and eh, I needed people that I could relate to. So I went, and then something told me, hey, go to next week. So last week I went to church as well over there. Even the pastor's like, oh man, like we would have brought the cojon, you could have played with us. I was like, dude, I told him, I was like, I want to experience your church. Like I was here for like the grand reopening, like I was a guest, but at the same time I was like a performer. I want to experience the church. Like, what would it be like as a member? And then I think like everyone got excited because I was like, I wasn't thinking that this church would be a good fit for me because it's so far and everything. But I was like, some of the people I find here, like I can talk to, I can kind of relate to, so it feels kind of dope. And then I went yesterday, and yeah, I was still feeling the same way. Had lunch with pastor's family and a bunch of like the young adults at the church. They're in like their late 20s and stuff, and I was like, I can kind of relate to these guys just because like I feel like we're on the same like life experience and life journey right now. So I was like, I feel like I can like relate to these guys. So it's dope. Like I felt welcome. But man, like getting to church every Sunday, dude, it's like it's not hard. It's just long. So I've kind of started making a routine out of it. What I'll do is I'll put another church that's live streaming, and I'll put them on while I go to church. So I'm basically getting two churches in one because I'm in the car for like an hour. Like last time I went to the church, it was like 55 minutes to get there. So I put another church that's streaming, namely Elevation Church, and then I'll just watch Elevation for an hour, and then by the time Elevation's about to wrap up their service, that's when I start parking and I actually go into the other service. And it's a really good way to like kind of keep my heart like all like, okay, I'm where I need to be when church starts. So it's real cool. It's all dope that way. Um, recording time. Oh, that's not so bad. Um, but yeah, dude, it's just this week has been this week's been good. Um, yeah, I've been learning a lot. And then just like different things have been happening with work, getting more gigs. I'm actually I should have a gig this Friday. As a poet opening up a film screening. I'm looking forward to it. Working with a good friend of mine, or Jordy, and should be having a gig. I'm getting a lot of gigs lately. Photography and poetry combined. It's real good. I thank God for it. And then just kind of see where it goes. Like I'm so surprised that this would mark, I think, month 8 or 9. I think month 8. October marks the 8th month of me just being completely independent. No 9 to 5, just completely independent work, and I'm still here. I'm still paying rent. Oh, that's another thing. My landlord just the other day, I paid rent, and she wants it in cash. So I'm paying her in cash, and she's like, "Oh, by the way, and then she hands me 40 bucks back. I was like, what's going on? It's like, oh, so you've been such a good tenant. We'd never have any problems with you. You don't complain. We're gonna lower your rent by 50 bucks. I was like, oh. I was like, that's great. So yeah, I have $50 less per month for rent, and it's dope. Dude, that's a hard thing to find, especially here in LA. But I thank God for it, man. It's dope, man. Cheaper rent. I still like my place. My place is dope. And yeah, just the experience that. Then there's just a bunch of really good stuff happening right now. And I think that's about it. Like, I could go on for days about everything, but we're gonna cut it off here. Thanks for listening to the podcast. I do really appreciate it. And for those all listening online, thank you guys for coming in and interacting as well too. But this is me, this is your boy KP signing off from the pod. And then I will see you guys next week where I just rant and rave about my week. There's probably gonna be something that I forget from this week that I'm gonna talk about next week as well to watch. But yeah, that's basically it. Take care. God bless. It's me, it's your boy KP.